The blindness status effect is represented by this eye symbol, and what it does is prevent all aura reading from working. It trumps all perks and items, as well as the built-in aura reading survivors have. So any perk that grants aura reading will be disabled by this status effect. As for the items I am referring to, if you do not know, there are 2 items that grant aura reading: maps and keys. The aura reading on these items, and any add-ons you equip to them, will also be rendered useless if you are afflicted with the blindness status effect. The only auras not affected by blindness are killer objects that survivors need to interact with in order to get rid of a killer's effect. What I mean by this is Freddy's alarm clocks. You will always be able to see them because you need to see them to wake up. Pig's jigsaw boxes are another example of this, because survivors must interact with these boxes in order to not die. And the Plague's pools of devotion, which help break survivors out of their sickness. Even blindness from lockers does not prevent you from seeing the auras of killer objects. It is important to note that only the survivor with blindness applied cannot see auras, so a perk like Kindred would still allow any survivors not affected by blindness to see each other's auras, even if the hook survivor has blindness on them. Another example is the map add-on Crystal Bead, which allows all survivors to see the auras revealed by the map. If the holder of the map has blindness and uses it, other survivors will still be able to see the auras it reveals, just not the user. One unique thing about this status effect is that it is not only caused by killers. If you go into a locker, the blindness icon will appear on your screen. As long as you stay in the locker, you will have blindness on you, but you will also be immune to all aura reading, even aura reading caused by any perk, add-ons, items, etc., both killers and survivors. This means survivors on a hook or in the dying state cannot see a survivor in a locker. Here is one example of how lockers negate survivor aura reading perks. I have Bond equipped, but when the survivor goes into the locker, I can no longer see them. Now for an example on the killer side, I'm playing the Wraith with his very rare All-Seeing Blood add-on, which says, while cloaked, the auras of survivors within 12 meters are revealed to you. You can see the survivor's aura disappears as they go in and out of the locker. Basically, the locker trumps everything. Any perk or item or add-on, etc. that grants aura reading is negated by lockers. One final thing, your aura reading perks will still be lit up and trigger even though blindness is preventing them from working. Here is an example of alert being triggered, but you cannot see any aura. Here are all the current aura reading perks for survivors. For the sake of time, I won't read their descriptions. Alert, one of Feng's unique perks. Bond, one of Dwight's unique perks. Empathy, one of Claudette's unique perks. Aftercare, one of Jeff's unique perks. Dark Sense, a general perk. Deja Vu, a general perk. Detective's Hunch, one of Detective Tap's unique perks. Kindred, a general perk. Object of Obsession, one of Lori's unique perks. Buckle Up, one of Ash's unique perks. Breakdown, one of Jeff's unique perks. Plunderer's Instinct, a general perk. Wake Up, one of Quentin's unique perks. And Windows of Opportunity, one of Kate's unique perks. If you have any questions about these perks, feel free to ask in the comments below. And I will also post links in the description of this video to my Survivor Perk Dictionary, which explains in more detail how some perks work. Now let's see how killers can cause blindness. Currently, there is only one perk that can apply it and several add-ons. The Hag's unique perk, Hex Third Seal, says hitting a survivor while the Hex totem is active applies the blindness status effect, and applies to the last 2, 3, or 4 survivors hit. The Hex effect persists as long as the related Hex totem is standing. When you get hit by a killer using this perk, the game will immediately notify you that Hex Third Seal is the cause. That way, you can start looking for the totem. Only the survivor that is hit gets notified of the blindness status effect. Now for the add-ons. Before I get into them, I just want to quickly point out that when a killer applies blindness to a survivor with an add-on, the game will tell you what add-on caused the blindness. Wraith's uncommon add-on Blind Warrior Mud makes his surprise attacks inflict blindness for 60 seconds. If you do not know what a surprise attack is, it's when the Wraith hits you immediately after uncloaking. The Huntress's common add-on Amanita Toxin applies blindness for 30 seconds to survivors hit by her hatchets. The Pig's uncommon add-on Face Mask applies blindness to survivors caught in the reverse bear trap. In order to remove the effect, the survivor must take the trap off their head. The Clown's uncommon Kerosene Can applies blindness to survivors who are intoxicated for 30 seconds. The Legion's common Smiley Face Pin applies blindness for 60 seconds to survivors hit by Feral Frenzy while they are under the effects of Deep Wound. So that is the key part of this add-on. It only applies blindness after you have had Deep Wound applied. You do not get blindness just from getting hit by Feral Frenzy. Freddy's rare add-on Unicorn Block says after a survivor interacts with a dream trap, the survivor gains the blindness status effect for 60 seconds. If you do not know, dream traps are his dream snares, which are red circles on the ground, as well as dream pallets, which are fake pallets that explode in blood. He also has another add-on, the uncommon Sheep Block, which says after a survivor interacts with a dream trap, the survivor gains the blindness status effect for 30 seconds. And that covers all the add-ons that apply blindness. Now another general thing you need to know about the blindness status effect is that they do not stack. So you cannot stack a 30-second add-on and a 60-second add-on to get a 90-second blindness. Instead, what happens is that whatever blindness effect has the longest duration will take priority. This is how all status effects work. So whenever a survivor is hit by anything that would cause blindness, the longer blindness effect will always take priority over the shorter blindness effect. Survivors can counter timed blindness status effects with the survivor perk Vigil, which is one of Quentin's unique perks. It says, you and your allies within an 8-meter range recover from the exhausted, hemorrhage, mangled, hindered, and blindness status effects 10, 15, or 20% faster. Once out of range, this effect persists for 15 seconds. So a rank 3 Vigil can turn a 30-second blindness effect into a 24-second one. Vigil can stack with other Vigils, so if multiple survivors run it, you can reduce the duration of blindness even more. Just know that Vigil does not stack in an additive way, so you do not get a 80% reduction for stacking 4 Vigils. Instead, it stacks in a multiplicative way. And that is the blindness status effect. I hope this video has helped you out, and thanks for watching. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. As always, good luck out there in the fog, and see you next time.